Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of wine and an old dirt road, and you're ready to go if you want to. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Live Music Nation podcast, special Oklahoma's Best edition. Today, we are with Heidi, and she is with the Colony in Tulsa. Heidi, thanks for joining us. Give us a little background on you. Where'd you grow up? Talk a little bit about your family and your career.
Oh, yeah. So I was born in Michigan. I lived there for the first 9 years of my life, and then my family moved to Ohio, where I spent the next 9 years. As an adult, I ended up in Tulsa at the University of Tulsa and have been here in Tulsa ever since the last 20 years.
What brought you to the
So
University of Tulsa?
it's a really strange story. My family actually moved to Kansas City after I graduated from high school, and I didn't know anybody within like 400 miles. I was connected with some people from the internet because it was the early 2000s and that's what we
Right.
were all doing, who were at the University of Tulsa. So I ended up driving down from Kansas City and meeting them and um, liked the university, made some
Mhm.
friends here, and decided if I was going to drive down from Kansas City every weekend, I might as well see if I could get myself an education in the process. And
What did you get your degree in?
I have a bachelor's of fine arts.
Okay.
So I focused on ceramics and photography
Okay.
with my time at TU. So
Very cool. Very cool. All right, well, let's jump into the Colony. Let's talk about your title with them first.
sure. So it's a lean team. I guess my big title is owner. My husband and I do all of the owning and operating together. My responsibilities fall primarily on high level operations. So maintaining licensing, I do our marketing. I also do all of our band bookings, whereas my husband is more focused on the day-to-day operations, vendor management, inventory and ordering, things like that. We kind of divide and conquer.
Perfect. Perfect. Give us the history on the Colony.
The colony's been around for a long time. Kind of a Tulsa staple, especially in the music industry. Founded originally in 1958. If you're doing the math, that is 65 years ago. It was opened as the Colony Inn back in the day. We actually this year rolled out some throwback anniversary T-shirts that feature the original logo and
Love
sign and things
that.
like that. Um, it was the Colony Inn for a long time. Those early days, the history is very muddy. There's not a lot of real facts on what was going on back then, but it was definitely a music venue, um, kind of an incubator for the Tulsa Sound, the original Tulsa Sound back in the day with Leon Russell and JJ Cale. Um, at some point, I think in the 90s, it was sold and became known as Foreplay, IV Play, Clever. And it existed as that space for about 20 years.
Okay.
In the early 2000s, the McNelly's Group, which is a large restaurant group based in Tulsa, purchased the venue, um, changed the name to the Colony, dropped the inn, but went back to its roots. And then in 2017, my husband and I purchased the venue from the Colony or from the McNelly's Group, and we've been owner operators ever since.
Okay. Very good. Very good. All right. So, to the listener that's never been there before, I have three questions that I always like to ask. What does it look like? Describe how it looks like. Describe what it smells like. And usually for us, that's food, or if there's like a signature cocktail, or if it's a dive bar, which is not what we're talking about, it's stale beer. But what does it smell like? And then what does it sound like? Talk about the different acts and genres that you have come through there.
Sure, absolutely. So the Colony is it's a small music venue. Like it's a very small space. I lovingly refer to it as our brick hallway. It looks like an old English pub. A lot of people ask when they walk up, did this used to be a house? It did not. It was
Yeah.
always a public space, a business, but it's a brick building with an old very warm, very cozy kind of feel, low ceilings, wooden beams. There's a very large wood burning fireplace in the middle of the main room that we use a lot when the weather is cool enough to do so, with a small stage that is low front and center in the room. So it's very cozy. It's very warm and quaint as far as like look and feel. Um, it is a dive bar. We don't have a restaurant. It's small. We don't have space for a kitchen in there, so we do not have any food. Um, it's a dive bar with a venue in it, or a venue with a dive bar in it, however you want to look at that. Um, we do pride ourselves on staying clean. In fact, I've had a couple of promoters who have come through who have commented that it like, man, this is the cleanest smelling bar venue. Every time I walk in here, I think, man, it smells clean in here. So like you're not going to get that stale beer smell most of the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
You might get a little incense nag champa smell when you walk in. We do that occasionally. What was the last question? The sound? How does it
The
sound?
sounds. Yeah. Let's
The
talk about the
sound.
artists that come through.
Yeah, we have live music 7 nights a week. We every day of the week we've got music for you. I focus my bookings pretty exclusively on local talent because there's a ton of it in Tulsa.
Hmm.
There's no shortage of very talented musical acts in Tulsa. Um, I think when people who know the Tulsa music scene think about it, they think about this sort of red dirt, Bob Wills, Western swing, the Tulsa Sound, J.J. Cale, Leon Russell. They think of country, they think of bluegrass. And all of that really does kind of play into the current Tulsa sound. But there's also this really great growing hip hop community in Tulsa that's really talented, that we try to represent as well. Um, it's really diverse. It's really diverse. And I think the sound that you get on any given night of the week is going to be a little bit different. Monday, we have a band, the Josh Westbrook Band, that leans really into a funk soul sound, harkening back maybe to the Gap Band as a local influence, you could say, versus Wednesday night, we have Petty Fox, who is a becoming well-renowned local digital musician who he plays keyboards and synth and does loops, and he's collaborating with other artists, and they're sort of making this festival jam music on the fly. And Thursday we have Seth Lee Jones, who is a renowned blues guitar rock musician. So it's you get a little bit of everything with us, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's perfect. That's perfect. I love it. Where did this passion come from to do the venue like this?
It was really kind of serendipitous. Growing up, I am not musically gifted at all.
I know I've been looking at your page, seeing if you were in a band, if you had a thing going
No,
on, and I couldn't find it. So I was like, okay, well,
I think for me, I grew up, most of my closest friends, even when I was in high school, were musicians. And so I grew up around that. I leaned more towards the visual arts, with my time at the University of Tulsa studying fine arts, visual arts. I still spent a lot of time with the art kids, with the musicians, right? So I had this appreciation for it. My husband and I both were in the service industry for years, bartended, waited tables, et cetera, and had a drive to own our own place at some point. The colony became available. We were interested and we purchased it, and honestly kind of figured out what it meant to actually run a venue on top of a bar as we went. We're still figuring it out.
right,
Um, so it really just kind of happened organically. It was never, I can't say that it was ever something that I was like, I want to own a music venue someday, but it
right,
worked out and it's been interesting and it makes sense.
perfect. What are some things you're looking to add in the future? Where's your vision going?
You know, more of the same, I think. I definitely want to continue to be an incubator for local musicians. my hope is to reach more of the artistic community in Tulsa and to
Mhm.
reach more fan bases and to become a venue that is beloved by fans of all different kinds of music.
Wow.
Like we're small. So like my dream, I can't, my dream is not like I want Garth Brooks to play there or anything like that. That
Right,
would be
right.
silly. It's a tiny venue, but
No, no, $5,000 a ticket. It's not silly. People would do that.
maybe there's an opportunity there for some big shows at high ticket. It's a little intimate
I mean,
venue.
we got Morgan Wallen doing apartment parties for $4,000. I'm pretty sure you could do that. Yeah.
Maybe we'll see. Again, I really just hope to continue to be a beloved space for the local musicians
Yeah.
and for any music fan in the surrounding area to recognize, love our venue, want to come to shows there.
Yeah. That's great. Okay. We've been talking business. We've been talking serious. Little fun here. Two questions that I always ask at every interview, just because I'm compiling this information. I love the answers and the variety that I get. So I got to know, Heidi, what is the best concert you've ever seen in your entire life?
I was preparing for this question, and it's such a hard question for me to answer. I think, because I've been to a lot. Um, I think my favorite show, my favorite concert I've ever been to was probably Atmosphere at Kane's Ballroom in Tulsa. It was a really cool show. It was
That
really
is
fun.
that would be for sure. Dead or alive, you get to see one musical act. Who would you want to see?
Dead or Alive, one musical act. Hmm. Am I allowed to go back in time and see them at
Oh,
like
yeah,
their
yeah, yeah,
height, or
yeah.
is it like now?
Nope, nope. Dead or alive, mortality is not an issue here. Neither is finances.
I like that. Boy, that's a really hard question. Um, I think I would really like to go back and see, I'd really like to get to see the Gap Band live,
Mm,
honestly.
yeah, no, there
I
you
mean,
go.
if you asked me tomorrow, I might give you a different answer because there's a
Right,
lot,
right.
but in this moment, I think that like that's one act that I would love to get to see perform live.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. Okay, most importantly, how do people find out more information about the colony?
There's a few different ways. So colonytulsa.com is our website. We have a lot of information on there. We keep the calendar up to date. There's a little brief history of our venue, a little about us, directions, all of that stuff. You can keep an eye on our upcoming shows. Um, Additionally, our Facebook page is a pretty good resource. We do post daily what's happening that night. We keep updates of upcoming shows. You can search for the Colony Tulsa on Facebook. You can find us there. We also have an Instagram presence. Posts are a little less frequent there, I will be honest, but you
Okay,
can follow us there. Those are probably your best bets.
perfect, perfect. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for your time today, Heidi. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Jake, thank you for reaching out to do this.
You bet.
Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of wine and an old dirt road. Are you ready to go if you want to?